You've been paying attention to Trump's crazy Ukraine plan? No, but people keep telling me to talk about it. Okay, what the is this? What's happening?
Зараз один з найважчих моментів нашої історії.
This is one of the most difficult moments in our history. The pressure on Ukraine is now at its most intense. Ukraine may now face a very difficult choice, either the loss of dignity or the risk of losing a key partner, or 28 difficult points, or an extremely harsh winter. The most difficult and further risk are life without freedom, without dignity, without justice, and believing someone who has already attacked us twice.
That major part.
Yeah, okay, what's the plan here? I'm guessing it's a peace plan that requires Ukraine to give up land or something like that? If you won all 28 points, it's like a 5-minute read. Sure, we can go over it.
Here is the United States, who this week presented a framework to Kyiv to end Russia's war there. In a radio interview with Fox News, President Trump said that he had given Ukraine until Thursday to respond. Ukraine's government says that it is carefully reviewing the Trump administration plan. And earlier, President Zelensky held an urgent call with the leaders of Britain, Germany, and France to discuss this plan. The U.S. framework was drawn up in secret by the U.S. and Russia without consultation from Kyiv or Europe. A draft seen by CNN shows the proposal includes the Kremlin's maximalist demands, requiring Kyiv to halve the size of its army and cede all territory lost to Russia in the past 3.5 years of war. Under the draft framework, Luhansk and Donetsk would be recognized as de facto Russian territories, as well as Crimea, which has been occupied by Russia since 2014. Russia would also keep parts of Kherson and Zaporizhia.
Okay.
CNN's Nick Payton-Walsh is in London. Our Kylie Atwood joins us from Washington, D.C. Nick, let's start with you. As we heard there,
this seems like a complete non-starter. I mean, this is like a joke. Okay. Non-aggression agreement. Ukraine's sovereignty will be confirmed. Russia will not invade neighboring countries. Dialogue between reliable security guarantees. Size of Ukrainian armed forces will be limited to 600,000 personnel. Ukraine agrees to enshrine in its constitution that it will not join NATO. NATO agrees to not station troops in Ukraine. Russia will be invited to rejoin the G8. Frozen funds will be used as follows. Frozen Russian assets will be used on Ukraine. U.S. will receive 50% of the profits from this venture. Oh boy. Agrees to be a non-nuclear state. The Zaporizhia nuclear power plant will be launched under supervision of the IAEA. And the electricity produced will be distributed equally between Russia and Ukraine. Both countries undertake to implement educational programs in schools and society aimed at promoting understanding and tolerance of different cultures and eliminating racism and prejudice. This sounds woke. Ukraine will adopt EU rules on religious tolerance and the protection of linguistic minorities. Both countries will agree to abolish all discriminatory measures, guarantee the rights of Ukrainian and Russian media and education. All Nazi ideology and activities must be rejected and prohibited. Damn, they're going to have to gut the whole Russian government. Bunch of land being ceded. All parties involved in this conflict will receive full amnesty for their actions during the war and agree to not make any claims or consider any complaints in the future. Yeah, no. It's barely even worth talking about. It's barely even worth talking about. Like, why would you this it's not going through. It's absolutely not. There's 0% chance it goes through. Like the secession of land on its own is enough. Who proposed this? The United States, with no consultation from Ukraine or Europe. So yeah, no, it's a non-starter. It's a joke. For the record, the war is going so bad for Russia, they're selling their gold reserves. My guess is that the reason this is getting rushed out the door when it's in such a laughable state is that Trump is really looking for something to pick his approval ratings up. He's trying to go for the 9 wars ended rather than just 8 wars ended. Note that is not gold bonds, they're selling actual gold reserves. Well, that's pretty funny. The Russian central bank said on Wednesday its sales and purchases of gold in the domestic market for the budget reserve have been increasing in recent years due to the enhanced liquidity of gold. Okay. Liquidity of Russia's gold market also rising. Nice, nice.
Ominous words from President Zelensky, calling this one of the most difficult moments of the country's history. He went on to say, I will present arguments, I will persuade, I will offer alternatives, but we will definitely not give the enemy any reason to say that Ukraine does not want peace. Just talk about the predicament that President Zelensky, that Ukraine is put in now, and the brief phone call that we now know that President Zelensky had with Vice President Vance.
Yeah, I mean, key, I think, will be what was said in that phone call in the past. Vice President Vance has been, particularly in the Oval Office blowout earlier on this year, the one to deliver the harshest messages towards Zelensky. We don't know if that was the case here, but listening again to President Zelensky's address there to the nation, this does not sound like a president who's saying to Ukraine, we have to go along with this. The choice between dignity and losing a major ally, well, it's fairly clear what he's suggesting Ukrainians should choose there. The choice.
Trump stopping wars ever done anything for him? Actually, yes. Him negotiating the ceasefire between Israel and Gaza, a fake, immediately broken ceasefire, but a ceasefire nonetheless, kind of, did actually lead to a short-term boost in his polling. A large increase in people who said they approved of his handling of the conflict in the Middle East.
A 28-point plan or an extremely hard winter. They've had hard winters in the past. This is clearly a process, but what we don't know at this stage is precisely what concrete parts of a plan that was widely leaked, perhaps initially elements of it by Russia to show they were trying to get a peace process moving, perhaps then bits of it leaked by Ukraine and Europe in the hope, perhaps misguidedly, that the distinctly pro-Russian element of this plan would kind of torpedo it in the early stages. That hasn't happened, and instead it's kind of morphed now into this document that has a life of its own, clearly in which the Trump administration is deeply invested. There are things in there which would be militarily
excluding Israel and Gaza. What have the other deals done? Nothing, because that's the only the stopped 8 wars thing is fake. The only actual conflict that's been resolved because of Trump is the Israel-Gaza conflict. And again, look into that if you want. Obviously, it's not a real resolution. He's claiming the India-Pakistan thing too. Yeah, but that didn't have an effect on his polling because it was obviously made up.
And politically, frankly, suicidal to start a rhetoric on it for Zelensky. He can't cede territory, particularly in the domestic political bind he's in with the corruption scandal swirling around his inner circle. That would be a phenomenally hard ask. He certainly can't agree to elections in 100 days after the signing of a deal. Even if he's not on the ballot, he'll be creating an electoral process there, rush with demobilization, wartime, messing it up, that will create a government whose legitimacy will be questioned from day one. And he certainly, I don't think, can agree to some elements of the decisions that get made by Russia in this document about who gets to join NATO in the future. So even when you read the text of the early versions that we've been seeing leaked to the media here.
Yeah, I don't really give a shit about this. There's a 0% chance of it being accepted by Ukraine, so who cares? It's just an insult from the administration. I'm guessing it's a desperate attempt to get poll numbers up. Hey, Vosh, why do I hear other people talk shit in Zelensky? I don't fucking know. I don't live your life. What people? For what reasons? Talk shit? What are you talking about? I'm not your friend. Why do people talk shit about Stacey? Because Stacey's a bitch. I don't know. What are you talking about? Who's other people? I hate you. On the plus side, Ken Martin went down to Seattle to say hi to Katie Wilson. I think that's nice. PNW spiritually Canadian. I disagree. I think Vancouver is spiritually American. How do you feel about that? Huh?